Hello all, 4-Player Squad Gaming here, and this is our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guard series. After completing the assault on Caspian Meridianum, you have opened the way for the final fight of A Realm Reborn. I welcome you to the Praetorium. The Praetorium is part of the Ultimate Weapon quest, and often appears in the main scenario Duty Roulette, and offers 200 tomestones of Poetics upon completion. Parties again aim to complete this duty as fast as possible due to the multiple times they have done it, however do try and be mindful that it could be someone's first time. I will aim to show you all the mechanics needed for a successful and quick run, however many players will run ahead and trigger cutscenes early. If this is your first time attempting the Praetorium, know that this is an amazing end to A Realm Reborn, and this duty has produced one of the most famous Final Fantasy XIV memes on the internet today, so keep an eye out for it. Sorry for the small spoiler, this was not my intention. So without further ado, let's start with the guide. In this first area, you can either kill the ads and head through the Magitek terminal, or which most parties do, simply run past the ads and progress. The ads in this duty have a relatively low health, so whichever way you choose it won't take too long. The second area has a group of ads that must be killed. Utilising both the main and off tank, collect the ads and the party shall burst them down with no issues at all. There are cone AoEs to watch out for, so keep mobile and pick up the Imperial identification key that drops. Open the gate and progress onto the outer walkway. There will be blast zones indicated by circular AoE ground markers that we must avoid. Most parties will simply run past all the ads and down the ramps to get to the Magitek transporter. It is now survival of the fastest, as damage from the ads following can interrupt activating the transporter, and you can gain all the enmity from the ads if you're the last to get through, ultimately killing you. If you do get killed by the ads, don't worry and simply head through the shortcut portal next to you when you respawn. Either way, run forward and trigger the first cutscene, after which you are confronted with the first boss, the Mark II Magitek Colossus. This is a simple tank and spankable boss with few mechanics to be worried about. DPS and healer should be stood behind as to avoid frontal attacks such as Grand Sword and Exhaust. This boss has a relatively low HP and will be killed very quickly. Party members should be mindful of circular AoE markers from Magitek Ray and dodge as necessary. Once the boss has been killed, you will have another cutscene. Wait for all party members to board the lift and then activate the Magitek terminal. It is possible to leave people behind, so do the nice thing and wait. Or not, that's up to you. Simply progress through the next section killing any ads in your way, and eventually you'll pick up another Imperial identification key. Open the gate and head immediately to your right, and activate the identification key reader. This is important and can be missed. If you miss this, you won't get to ride the Magitek armour and you must walk like a commoner. Trust me, I've done this numerous times. Wait for everyone to board the elevator on the opposite side of the room and head down. Progress forward and interact with the Magitek armour ahead, starting another cutscene. In your newly acquired Magitek armour, shoot and blast your way through all the ads in your way. You will do huge damage and can easily kill everything in your path. Photon Stream is a machine gun style attack, and Magitek Cannon is a blast of AoE damage at your given location. Keep progressing forward and you will reach the 7th bulkhead. Simply blow your way through this door and walk onto the centre of the lift ahead. In this next area you need to use your Magitek armour to kill all the ads in the way, and the Proto Ultimate Arm units that come out of the walls. Be mindful of getting too close as they can hit you backwards, dealing significant damage. I recommend using Photon Stream here for the arms and Magitek Cannon for the ads. After you've made your way through this area, blast through the door and a new cutscene will begin. Progress forward and into the second boss fight area and enjoy the cutscene. Our second boss is Nero Scaeva, the Red Power Ranger. Tanks should gain the enmity and aim the boss away from the party. All damage dealers and healers should aim to stand behind Nero, as he can knock anyone standing in front of him backwards and into the electrical field surrounding the fight area. Our aim is to stay out of this area as it will cause significant damage over time. Magitek Claws will tether to random party members. These need to be killed as soon as possible as they can knock players into the electrical field. Nero has numerous abilities, but we only need to watch out for being knocked back by Iron Uprising and Augmented Uprising. The augmented attacks can cause the heavy debuff, so be mindful and assuming these when necessary. With the party all dealing damage and being mindful of their position, this boss is a cinch and before long you will have killed him. After another cutscene, head onto the large elevator platform and activate the Magitek terminal, starting yet another cutscene. Our third boss is Gaius van Baelsar. Tanks should gain enmity as normal and the rest of the party should aim to be behind the boss. This is another tank and spankable boss with very few mechanics. Periodically throughout the fight, blue circles of flame will appear on the ground. Simply avoid these. Be mindful of the knockback from sentence, as this can push you into the flame. This fight normally doesn't last long enough for the high damage ability Gaius has. Terminus S is a large flaming blue X that must be dodged due to its large damage output, but due to the nature of this run, I don't think I've ever seen it. Simply pile on the damage, tanks keep enmity and healers keep them healthy. The fight will end before Gaius reaches 0 and another cutscene begins. Progress forward and our next boss fight will begin after another cutscene. The Ultima Weapon is the main reason we are here. It will appear as if you are doing 0 damage at the start of this fight, and this is scripted, so aim not to use your large cooldown abilities now. Simply keep piling on the damage until you get a little help from Hyderlin. When you notice the damage increase, then you can use your higher cooldown abilities. The primals gathered will start to be torn away from the Ultima Weapon and weaken it further. This first stage is very easy and you can't really go wrong. Simply pile on the damage and wait for the next cutscene to start. This cutscene is where the famous meme appears, so keep an eye out, and the Ultima Weapon Round 2 begins. This part is much tougher than the last. Tank need to gain enmity and aim the boss away from the party. The party needs to focus damage on the Ultima Weapon until the Magitek bits appear. These will produce lines of light across the fight area, causing damage to any that are caught in the path. If left alive, the area will be overwhelmed and it will become near impossible to dodge the beams of light. The aim is to kill any Magitek bit close to you and then switch back and damage the Ultima Weapon as normal. As long as you keep the Magitek bits under control, the fight is relatively simple. A hit marker will appear on the ground which you must distance yourself from. The closer you are, the more damage you receive. Ultima is a damage check at the end of this fight. Simply pile on as much damage as you can before it is allowed to go off. Enjoy another cutscene before the final boss. Lahabrea is our final boss, and is quite possibly the easiest of them all. As far as I can tell, there are no mechanics to be worried about. There will be bursts of damage throughout, however this is basically unnoticeable. Simply pile on the damage and you will have completed this run, and will be treated to the final cutscene. Enjoy. There you have it, the Praetorium is complete. Remember to commemorate the player you believe deserves it most. That is the end of A Realm Reborn, the main story questline will now take you on to Heavensward. If you believe I've missed anything, or if there's anything you would like to see in my future videos, please comment below. We are 4Player Score Gaming, thanks for watching.